What a wonderful.
Hi, guys, and welcome back to Real. I am back finally after so long. I had like a month hiatus basically, and it wasn't on purpose. It was because I literally had a mental breakdown. If you guys didn't know, I record at home. Obviously, all the equipment is mine, the editing, everything is me. And so that makes it very hard when I literally go to plug in my memory card about a month ago. I have all these amazing recordings from Violet Benson, from Kenzie Elizabeth, and other guests that we lost, whatever. But I went to plug in the memory card and it cleared. All the audios from all of my guests cleared. And all I had was the video. So I sent the memory card out to a bunch of different people. Took a couple weeks, nothing. Couldn't get the audio back. It was gone. That went down the drain. We ended up just taking the video and editing that and throwing it up there because I did not want to waste two incredible episodes. And now we're back starting from scratch. So I'm really sorry, guys, about the audio situation. I prefer to record at home. I like having this kind of setup. I like it being chill. I'm also in my grandparents' bedroom right now at the beach in Bethany. So hence the interesting setup. But I'm really glad to be back with you guys. I obviously need to do a life update. If you've been following me on TikTok, I obviously gave a major soft launch update. So I definitely owe you guys an explanation for that, which we will get to. But I just wanted to give you guys like an update of like what I've been doing. I was in Montauk for the last month and was peaking and thriving. I spent most of my life for the past month at Joni's in Montauk, at Left Hand Coffee, and at Surf Lodge, if I'm being so for real, and at Crow's Nest, basically. It was the best time ever. It was so relaxing. It was what I needed. But it's chaotic going from there back to the city. So I'm like excited to be in one place, but I'm like beyond grateful that I got to do that. It was just such a cool experience, and I'm definitely going to do it next summer. And it was also fun for work because so many brands end up going out to the Hamptons and doing stuff out there. So it ended up being really cool from like a content perspective too, because I felt like I could bring some fun, different content. And you get like content burnout when you're living in the city, which is actually crazy when I think about it. Because when I lived in Jersey, I used to always be like, oh my God, like there's nothing to post here, like blah, blah, blah. I need to live in the city. And then you live in the city and you're like, there's nothing to post here. I think just because like everything becomes your normal. But anyways, yeah. The Hamptons was such a good place for content, and now hopefully I'll have a refreshed sense of motivation when I get back to the city. But I'm so sorry to everyone that is like avid listeners that the podcast was all over the place, and then once it came back, the audio was bad. Trust me, it made me so upset and unwell. Like I was physically unwell about it. So I'm deeply, deeply sorry, but I'm back. When I was in the Hamptons, we did a share house. So I had people rotating each weekend. So I'll start with like 4th of July weekend. It was literally the best time ever. We went to some crazy mansion in East Hampton to some 80s party, and it was all like older people and they were like making out. And then towards the end of the night, we're all like getting ready to leave this party. Literally things start getting really weird. Like I was looking around, and keep in mind, like this is 4th of July weekend. This was like peak 4th of July weekend. I think this was like Saturday night. So I was like in it to win it. But I was also tired because we were going like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I'm already exhausted. It's probably like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And I'm looking around and like things start getting a little frisky at this mansion. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm looking around. People look like they're about to start swinging. No joke. Start swinging. And I'm like, wait, I'm a little concerned and a little scared because am I at a sex party right now? Like, is that where I just ended up? And I'm not kidding. I fear I ended up at a sex party. And there's no coming back from that experience. Like I immediately, like the Uber was called, but I was looking around and I was like, things are getting very weird. Like it was just, when the vibes just become off and you're like, what is going on in here? Like it was that kind of situation. The vibes were just giving off. I don't know. Anyways, that was highlight of 4th of July weekend, and all around 4th of July weekend was just like hilarious. But I literally thought this summer in the Hamptons was going to be like single girl summer. I was ready for it. And I'm like, watch me like get cuffed like while I'm like in the Hamptons, like thriving. And that's literally what happened. And like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's so weird. Everyone's like, it's always when you least expect it. And I'm like, shut up. I know. And I'm like, but I'm always expecting it. And then it really hit me when I really actually wasn't expecting it, like quite literally at all. Before I get into that part, because like I'm gonna give you guys the tea, don't worry. I know this is the place for it. Like I'm not giving the tea anywhere else. Like this is where it is. Before that though, if you guys have been here for like a bit, you might remember Mr. Mar-a-Lago Trump man. We have some hilarious leads that have come through about this. So, okay, a few weeks ago, I'm looking through my DMs on the podcast Instagram, and this girl had chatted me, being like, girl, I live in your building. Is this guy on X floor? Because I have something funny to tell you if he is. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, like that's the guy. So I'm like, I respond to her. I'm like, wait, yeah, he was on that floor and why? And she was like, he basically, like, guys, I want to have her on the podcast. I think that would be hilarious. I literally told her I want to have her on. But she goes, so he basically pretended, like when he was like asking me, like, where do you summer? Like, if you guys remember that, he's like, where do you summer? He brought her, I fear, to Capri as his like fake girlfriend. And he talked about her to me as if she was his ex. And I stalked him on Instagram, obviously, because we all do that. And he posted her in Capri with him. And I literally thought that was his ex-girlfriend. It fully wasn't. It was a girl that he like dated for like a little bit, I think. And she lives in my building. So that's two of us that have dated him that live in my building. And she was like, you have no idea the shit that this man has done. Like he is weird as fuck, and was naming all of these hilarious stories. I literally, again, like I don't even know all the stories yet. Like I need to have her on. But she also sent me a photo, you're gonna die, of a, you know, those like Venus flower, but like bears, like one of those like teddy bear, but it's like the flowers. It was a Venus flower bear that he sent her, and it was light up. I'm sick. I'm actually sick. He sent her that. When they like weren't even it's just this guy is so bizarre, and I just think it's so funny that they literally were like dating, and like I dated him, and then we all lived in the same building. It's so bizarre, but that's New York for you. Anyways, I thought that lead was really funny, and I just had to update you guys with that. And I'm literally gonna hang out with her so that I can get the tea for you guys, and maybe even like have her on if she agrees to it, because that would be hilarious to bring her on and compare and contrast notes. Although I don't think my boyfriend would. Maybe he would probably be like, why are you talking about another guy that you dated? But I'm like, it's for the content. It's for the content. Anyways, now to the part that you've probably been waiting for, which is like my life update. So yeah, I have a boyfriend. Sorry to him. Like, I'm not sick about that. I'm just like, what? Like, I'm sick. But you can know what I mean. Okay. Essentially, I told a story on live, like back in May probably, or even like right after that. And it was like talking about this guy that I was dating right before me and my boyfriend met. And I still can't wrap my head around the fact I'm saying boyfriend. It's so weird to me. But before we met, I was like dating this guy that okay, so basically I knew this guy from college, and he was someone that I like he was like a guy that I always had like a sex thing with, kind of. But I didn't have like a relationship thing with. And that was always the part that was missing. And this guy had lived in a different state before, and he moved to New York. And it was always the kind of not even the one that got away, but just like the one that there was like the unfinished business with. And I was like, oh my God, like he's moving to New York. Like all my friends were basically like, oh my God, like, do you think you're going to date him? And I was like, I don't think so, but like I would be interested to like see, because he was giving vibes that he was like interested in dating me. So I'm hyping this up in my head for years, like basically thinking that like I'm going to date this man eventually and that like there's potential there and all this stuff. And it's basically me like creating, there was like a lore about him, but it was like very much like the idea of him. But I didn't know that at the time. So he decides like like it was a sexual thing when he first moved to the city. Like it was very much not giving like relationship. But then after that, I think he got the vibe that I was like, I'm not really looking for that. And he like asked me out on a date, and he like takes me out. We like have a really nice first date, whatever. Like he's giving like he means business, like walks me home, goes home, doesn't try to like sleep with me or anything. Like he's means business. And like I appreciated that. So we continue dating. We go on like a few more dates, and basically like I decide eventually that I'm going to start sleeping with him again. When I tell you I slept with this man for the first time, and like since we like started like actually seeing each other in that way, this man, it's not man qualities, it's little boy qualities. And as a 27, 28-year-old, like, I'm sorry, who the fuck acts like this? He literally, first of all, was not a good texter, but I sleep with him after spending an entire day with him because he had taken me to this like festival. So before that happened, he like says to me like, I want you to sleep over. So I'm like, okay, like great, like normal behavior. Literally right after the deed is done, we're like laying there and he's like, so I'm going to call you an Uber. And I'm like, he did not just say that. Like literally not even thinking anything's wrong. I'm like, oh, like I thought you wanted me to sleep over. And he's like, well, don't you need like all your stuff? Like don't you need to like take off your makeup and like brush your teeth and stuff? And I'm like, like, I mean, it's fine. Like I like thought I was going to sleep here. And I was like not giving like desperate, like I was just giving like, I wanted to sleep here. Like I thought like this is what the plan was. And like you literally were just inside me. So like, I don't understand. Anyways, he is like, no, like, or like he says like, whatever, like, fine, like, yeah, like, no, that's fine. Like you can sleep here. And we're laying there for a few more seconds. Like it probably wasn't even a minute. And he goes, so yeah, I'm going to call you an Uber. And I was like, oh my God. So I'm sitting there like so fucking distraught because like I like just let him like have sex with me. And I was like a little upset about it. So I leave, he calls me an Uber, I go home, and then he starts sending me fucking memes on Instagram. And I'm like, okay, this is not really the reassurance that I was hoping for. That's a Sunday night after that. He doesn't text me the entire following week after that happens. I think we're done. Like in this case, in my head, I'm like, oh, like we're done. Like this is not a thing anymore. And on that like Thursday night, I get a fucking call from him. And I respond, I'm like, hello? And he's like, hey, like, what's up? I'm like, hi. And he's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you up to? Like so normal, nonchalant, like nothing happened. And I'm like, just like finishing up some work stuff. Like, what about you? And he starts talking and I'm like, do you realize like this is bizarre behavior, right? Like I literally say that to him. I'm like, this is bizarre behavior. And he's like, what? And I'm like, you just like having sex with me and then like sending me in an Uber home and then like not talking to me the entire week until Thursday and then acting like that's normal. Bizarre behavior. And he's like, oh, like I'm sorry. Like I was just like working all week and like didn't even think about it. The fact that you think that like you care about me or like want to have something with someone, but you don't think of them enough to know that that's rude is crazy. Crazy. And keep in mind, like I like thought I like cared about this person because they were in my life for so long, which not a reason to care about a person if we're being so for real. Like caring about a person, it doesn't matter how short or long they've been in your life. It's about like how they show up for you. And now I like obviously know that. That person had never shown up for me. He was in my life for so long, like probably 7 years. never showed up for me. And I allowed him to dictate my thoughts or feelings and thought about him, gave thought, like I would never do anything to hurt him. So I hang up. He's like, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. Next day, I'm in the Hamptons with my girlies. This is like before the July house, though. This was like back in like probably early June. Was just visiting a friend. And I get a text from him, like a literal paragraph. And it's like, I just wanted to apologize. Like, I like didn't think about it. And like, I just like really dive into my work during the week. Bro, you're not a fucking brain surgeon. You dive into your work so hard that you can't send a text, hey, hope your week is going well. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. As women, we all have hard jobs. We work. Women have never used work as an excuse to not text a guy back. Like, that's crazy. Guys do that shit. And you know why they do that shit? Because they need a really good excuse. So he uses that crazy excuse and is like, basically, if this is my like vibe, and if like this isn't good for you, then like this isn't meant to go any further. And I'm like, okay, bet. So I'm talking to my friends about it. We're chit-chatting. We're like, do I even answer? Like, do I just like let it go? And I'm like, you know what? I want to give him a call and just let him know, like, no, I don't want this to go any further because we've known each other for so long. And I don't know why I had that thought process or that mindset. I don't know why, but in the moment when you're like in something like that, it's like you want that closure, I guess. So I wanted to just call him and be like, look, like, don't fuck with you. Like, don't fuck with the way you handled this. Like, I just like want to let you know, like, it's not going to go any further. But like, thanks, but no thanks. So I'm like to him, like, can I call you? He's like, yeah, I'm just like going to the gym. I'm like, all right, call me when you get back from the gym. Never calls me, never sends me a text. At this point, it's like 7 p.m. I'm going to dinner. I'm like, hey, so we can chat about this another time because like I'm going to dinner now. He's like, yeah, thanks, with like the praying emoji. Nor. So I'm like, all right, that's it. Like, I tried, but that's it. Like, we're done. Like, I gave my effort to like give this closure. This person literally couldn't care if I lived or died. Like, genuinely. The funniest part is that when he sends this text to me, he sends another text, or like at the end of his text, saying like, and like, you must be protected at all costs. And I'm like, wow, that's cheap coming from the person that didn't do the protecting, but saying that I need to be protected. Like, that's crazy. And I also want to preface this by saying I don't care about this situation anymore. I'm in a happy relationship now. I don't care. But this is a life update and also a great fucking story time and also a lesson for you guys of how to be treated by someone, or if this has happened to you guys. So please do not take this story time as I'm wrapped up about this or I care about this. No, I haven't updated you guys. It's a good story time. So that is what is happening. Don't like read into it any further than that, because I know that people will, just given whatever. So anyways, I just think it's so cheap. He's like, you must be protected at all costs. Wow. That's hilarious. And like throughout the whole relationship, whatever you want to call it, kept being like, I'm trying to mature, I'm trying to get better, do not ever, a guy that says they're trying to mature, run. Do not ever take a guy in progress. We take men as men. When they're done with that process, you do not want someone who is like actively working on themselves, because we don't want the person in progress. We want the finished result. Like, why do you want a project when you could literally go out and find someone who's all of the things, who's attractive, who has things in common with you, all of those same things, but on top of that is more emotionally intelligent and can give you everything and more? Like, I think as girls, we have this like feeling of like there's not enough men out there. There's not enough good men out there, but all you need is one. All you need is to find one. And I always knew that, obviously. I'm not speaking from like, oh my God, I've been in a relationship for a month, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, I'm not speaking like along those lines. I'm speaking more along the lines of like, I've known this and now confirmed I know this. Um, it was just crazy how, why was I giving that a chance? But funny thing is, we all know this. They always come back when while I'm in my new relationship. Of course, I get a text from this boy and he's like, sends me literally a fucking essay. So you wanted to make yourself feel better because you feel guilty now about what you did. Because the closure essay was never for me. It was never for me. And if this has happened to you, it's never for you. It was not about you. It's about them because they feel guilty all of a sudden and they want to clear their conscience and know that they did nothing wrong. So now he can walk away and feel better about himself and know he did nothing wrong and not lose sleep over the situation, which he probably never was in the first place. This is what they do. Like I've seen this and I see it with other people, but it's just hindsight so funny and so clear. As soon as I got that text, I was like, oh, so you feel bad now and you want to clear your conscience. Good. Go for it. Forgiven. And actually, in fact, it's funny how things really do like work out the way they're supposed to and the timing they're supposed to. Because if it wasn't for my situation with him, I would have never pursued or went out with my now boyfriend. So now we'll get into that because like that other drama is so behind and off to the side, but it taught me so much in such a short time, which is crazy. So now getting into the current man's, my boyfriend, aka. So the funniest thing is that when this situation ended, probably literally the day that my situation ended with my ex, like situationship, whatever the fuck that was. I hopped on Hinge and I was like looking through people that had already matched with me and that had like showed interest because I was like, I just like want someone to like pursue me actively and be obsessed with me. And like, I want to just get over the last situation and just like get like something else going. And the funny thing is that like, I genuinely from the bottom of my heart, like was not looking for something. Like I knew I had this, I literally was about to move into my Hamptons house like a couple weeks later or like whatever. So I was like really not looking for anything. And I saw this guy had like chatted me like 3 times. I don't know why I decided to go out with him. I literally had one mutual friend that I like stalked him on Instagram and I like saw one mutual friend and I texted her and I was like, what do you think of this guy? And she's like, oh, he's like really nice. I like used to hook up with him. And I was like, okay, slay. Whatever. So it was like not like a friend. It was like someone I'm like friendly with that I like texted. It wasn't like not like I'm like using a friend's like old hookup or something. It's just she was like, oh, we had hooked up before, but like he's a nice guy. So basically he had like chatted me a few different times and I was like, okay, like fine. I guess I'll like respond. And right away, like he was like, okay, like you responded, like now like I have to make a plan. We have to go out. So we go out. I first of all am an hour late. Like I told him I was gonna be an hour late, but I was at dinner with my like friends before that, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm running like an hour late. So we go to this like wine bar. We just like split a bottle of wine, chit chat. Keep in mind, like I'm gonna say some things that were different about this that in the past things were all kind of the same leading up to this. Like every day I kind of like overthought. Like I was like, oh, is this person my husband? Am I going to date this person? Like I genuinely just like wasn't overthinking this time because like I had just come out of something. So I was like, I just need to like kind of get a date over with and like get back out there. I sat down. I felt very fucking chill. Like I was just like, I sat down and I just felt like my shoulders kind of shrugged. Like I felt relaxed with this person. And I don't know if it was him or just like my vibe. Maybe it was a combination of both, but I just felt relaxed immediately. Conversation flowed, same sense of humor, like really kind of like a dark, sarcastic sense of humor. Like mature, very mature. And we really bonded over like our work ethic, I feel like outside of like the humor stuff, like we really bonded over our work ethic. Like he like has his own business and is extremely driven and cares about that part of his life a lot and like puts it first. So I think that's what like initially like not even attracted me because it wasn't like an attracted I was attracted to him obviously, but it was just it drew me to him. Like I enjoyed just hanging out with him, but I didn't even like think about it honestly. So he walks me home. He from like that first date on just made a point to be like he like always says this to me. He said it to me this morning. Like we're fully like in a relationship and he's like I will always actively pursue you. And that to me is such a sign of a man. Like, he will always court me. He will always take me to dinners. And it's not about the money, it's not about those things. It's about the effort and treating someone right and showing someone that you care and that you like want to impress them. And like, I'm the same back, but you don't get that in the beginning back. Like, a guy needs to like show their intentions and set their intentions then before they can reap the benefits of like those intentions and like the efforts. And I don't know, like this. So the second date, he was like going away for a couple weeks. So on our second date, he like turned our second date into our second and third date because to make up for lost time. So we did like part one of the date where he like took me to dinner, and then he did part two where he took us to Monkey Bar and we like got drinks there, like we got martinis, and that was like part two of the date. And then he like Ubered me home after, and like it was just the effort. Like he was like, I'm gonna surprise you. Like our second date, like I literally didn't think. Like I did not use my brain. Like I walked out of my apartment and like he took us to the first place, took us to the second place. Like didn't even tell me where we were going, literally. And it was that like none of those things were gonna make or break our connection. But it was the thing that like he was setting it up for like this person is like actively trying and courting me. And it was something that I just knew that I required in a relationship or like in someone that I would date. Like, I'm not saying it would make or break anything. It was just, it checked those boxes for me. Like, I was like, oh, like, check. Like, he did all of the right things. As like those dates went on, even though it was so early, he was away for those 2 weeks. It's the way we texted and FaceTimed every day while he was away. Like, he was nonstop communicating with me. There was never a doubt in my mind that he was pursuing me and like actively like wanted to take me out again when we got back. And I don't know, it was just like there was never a doubt. And also like it's weird, but we built such a connection while he was away because we were just talking so much and like the communication, there was such an open flow of communication, like texting me good morning, like texting me good night, like literally talking every day throughout the day. Like we like built the connection like when he was away, literally. And I like had felt like I was like still dating him while we were even away. And when he came back, we like I think I was like I'm really tired and I just want to like order in. And like both of us kind of like run around a lot for our jobs. Like I don't know. And like he was away, I've been away. So we literally I think like I'm pretty sure we like ordered Sweetgreen and like sat on the couch and did nothing. And at this point too, like everything was very PG. Like we were not like it was just like an emotional connection. Like obviously we were attracted to each other, but it was, and again for me, another important thing that he was very much aligned on. There was no pushiness, there was no like other agenda. Like he just genuinely like wanted to like get to know me and be around me. And like I think that was what like drew me again, like kept drawing me back. And like again, like the connection was going to be there no matter what, but all those other things completed it, I feel like. And so I don't know, from there, like it was just everything like fell into place so quickly. And then shortly after that, I was like, okay, this is like kind of crazy because I don't even know if we were exclusive yet. I don't even know if you're exclusive, but I brought him to the Hamptons. I literally was like, do you want to like come to my Hamptons house and stay with me? And I don't know, that was ballsy because that was before we had even like slept together yet. Like that was ballsy. But I just like had like a feeling that it would be fine. Like my gut was just like, you should just invite him. And the reason that I invited him is because my friend was bringing her boyfriend. So I was like, okay, like this could be a fun like little like weekend. So I just like asked him to come and he was like, yeah, like I'd be down. And I like at first when I asked him, I like hesitated. I was like, okay, I'm not like officially asking you, but like would you like be like would you say yes if I were to ask you basically? And he was like, yeah, like let me check my schedule. Like I think I'd be down. Him checking his schedule. He's like, yep, I'm good. I can go. But yeah, I don't know. I just like asked him and from the, like, we drove in the car together. Like, I don't know. The night before, we actually like ended up like having a sleepover and like whatever. But when we got there, I don't know. Everything kind of just again like fell into place. Like I felt like we were like in a relationship for so long, which is like so weird. But everything, like even though we were doing a lot of that stuff for the first time, like being away together, driving in the car together, like all those things, like it didn't feel like it. Like it felt very like natural and like it flowed. And I don't know. That's just like a weird foreign concept to me because I haven't had that in so long. And he just felt like a best friend. Like we just like could like hang as like besties, but then there was also like the relationship aspect and like the attraction aspect and all that stuff. So I don't know. I think that's like what made it so seamless and so easy. And like even just like it's hard like introducing him to your friends, like all that stuff, like bringing him out, like being like even just like walking around like Montauk together and like getting coffee in the morning and like all those little things, like brushing our teeth together. Also, side note, I don't know, it just like everything kind of just felt normal. But I was gonna say when I posted my like soft launch on TikTok, everyone was like, why the fuck would you post like a brushing your teeth photo? And it's because with us, like I could post a bunch of like formal photos together, but that's not what our relationship has been so far. Like it's not about, yes, we do those things together. We go to nice dinners and do those things, but it's like our relationship, the best part of it for both of us has been the little things. Like I think that for us, because both of us haven't had someone in so long and we both are like the type of people that like love to be alone, doing all the little things together has been like the best part. And it's hard, like I'm having a hard time honestly talking about this stuff online, and I really I don't know how much of my relationship I plan to really bring online because it's so special and sacred to me right now. And like I'm just like loving this era of like us, and I don't know, like I want to protect it at all costs, kind of. LOL, protect at all costs. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I want to like protect what we have, and not everyone deserves to have access to that. So that's why I'm careful with kind of what I'm sharing. But I will say, like, back to what I was saying, I feel like the reason why I posted like the brushing my teeth thing, brushing our teeth together, is because like it's the little things that you don't think about that like you get to do together. That is so much fun. Doing my skincare, standing next to him, like making him banana bread, like getting to go to sleep together, getting to like say goodbye to him when I like go to the gym in the morning. Like those are the little things that you don't think about that have been like the best for me. And just like having someone to like, I don't know, like I like for so many years was so closed off, and it just took me just like opening myself back up again and being like, okay, I actually am ready for someone. And like, I actually do feel like I really would like someone to like do all these things with. And then it just like was popped in front of me and I couldn't stop it or help it. It just was like put there and I was like, oh shit, like there's nothing you can do. That's been like the best. And so yeah, that's why I posted that thing, because it's just the little things that have made us, I think, the happiest together. Like doing those small things together, helping each other with little things. Like I also have always wanted someone to take care of me. I always feel like I take care of all the people around me. And I think he's very much like that too. And like us like taking care of each other has been like really cool too. Like he just like takes care of me. Like I never had that before in my whole life. Like someone that like doesn't like mentally like emotionally like dump on me. Like he's allowed to have his issues. He's allowed to, but he just like puts me first always. And like I'm allowed to complain for once. Like I'm allowed to like be sad for once, or like I don't know, I just never had that with anyone in my life. I always felt like I was carrying the burdens in my past relationships or in like everywhere else in my life. Like I always feel like that. So it's nice when you're that to everyone else in your life, that like when you're with someone and when you're with a partner, to like not be like that, you know, for them to be able to be like, yeah, I got you. And like, you can vent to me and like, I'm going to take care of you. And also I do the same for him, obviously, like always, but it's just nice to really feel like it's for free. There's no hidden agenda. There's no cost. Like just someone that like actually wants to be there for you. I also want to like talk about and get into how we decided to go from like exclusive to official, and we were exclusive the second we met. Like, we both were very open about the fact that, like, we were not seeing other people. Like, when he was away, he was like, I'm not even looking at anyone else. Like, let's be for real. And I was like, no, like, I'm gonna be for real. Like, I've been out. Like, I go out all the time. Like, I'm not like interested really. I mean, like, yeah, they're like, I can like look at a guy and be like, oh, they're cute. But like, I was not like actively looking to like be with someone. And that was like from day one, honestly, with him. And so there was that. So we kind of had established that we were like exclusive without saying that. Cause like, who needs to, I don't know, who needs to say that when it's just like, it's had already been said that we weren't interested in other people from like the jump, basically. And the reason that we, like, I think after the Hamptons, like post Hamptons, when we were back at home and like living normal life, we were like, okay, like, we're obviously like, we've been exclusive, but do you want, or maybe we were in the Hamptons, honestly, when he was like, do you want to be exclusive? And I was like, yeah, like, we already are. And then literally maybe like it was like days later, like a week later, we were like, what's the difference? We were like, I think this was like late at night. We had come back from going out, and he was like, what's the difference between exclusive and like being my girlfriend? And I was like, genuinely, I don't know. And it is a good question. Like, why is there that in between? If you're exclusive, aren't you just then like dating? Like, I feel like the exclusivity thing is more for when a guy is like not, they're like kind of afraid to commit. So they're like slowly doing it in increments. Like, I feel like that's why. But like, he knew from day one that he like wanted to be with me. I was like maybe more hesitant just because it had been so long since I was in a relationship. And also, I feel like I live with more like of being afraid, just from being hurt in the past and stuff, and just wanting to protect myself and being cautious, like never wanting to get into anything prematurely, making sure I'm always thinking and not being impulsive. Like, I just always try to be like very careful about every move I make. And so I don't know. I thought he was always the more forward one, but he brought it up. He was just like, why? What's like the difference at this point? Like, why? And I was like, honestly, like, I don't know. And he's like, if I were to like ask you, like, would you say yes? And I like, he was like, why can't you just like be my girlfriend? And I was like, no, like, I kind of like agree. And he's like, so will you like be my girlfriend? And I was like, yeah. And that was kind of like it, honestly. We were just like sitting on the couch. I'm pretty sure I was sitting on the floor and he was sitting on the couch, and we were just like talking, and I was like, we were like eating, like we were literally eating snacks and talking about it. And we were like, okay, like slay, we're official. So it was never really a big thing. And all of those steps were never really a big thing to us. I feel like it just kind of like organically happened. And I'm not saying this to like at all say, oh, like what happened with me is better like than anyone else, or like that's how it's supposed to be. I'm just explaining how it was for me and how for us. And like everyone's going to be different. Obviously, there's no right or wrong to how things go. That's just like what happened for us. And like again, like it's so early. Like we just literally like told people that we're official. So I'm not speaking from experience of being like, I'm a dating professional now, I'm a relationship professional. I'm absolutely not. I've been single for 7 years. Like, I've gone through it with that stuff. I'm just like, this era is good. And like, I like where we're at. But again, like, I feel like I've been very much proceeding with caution because it's scary. It's not only is it scary entering something, not only is it scary telling friends and family and then having those intros for the first time, but then me coming on and talking to you guys about it is 10 times scarier. We love that he doesn't have TikTok. He knows about TikTok. I send him all my TikToks and stuff, but like he never like had like TikTok or is not big on social media. So I love that I can kind of like do me and live in this world, and he can like be supportive but not like be part of it, or I never have to worry about feeling like, I don't know, like that's not an aspect of our relationship. Like, he doesn't care. He's happy for me. He wants me to do me. He supports me and pushes me with my work, and like I do the same for him, but I like how we're in very separate worlds, and I kind of always wanted that. But with that being said, like, I don't know how much of my relationship I will bring online. I always thought I was going to be the person to like flex it and put it out there. And maybe one day that will be me. I'm speaking for today. Today, I'm not comfortable with that. Maybe in a week, I'll come back to you guys and feel differently. I just feel like right now I'm really into like protecting my relationship, and I'm a little afraid to like put things out there, especially this early. So I'm talking to you guys about it. I'm like spilling like as much as I feel comfortable spilling, but all you guys need to know is like he's literally the best and so sweet for now. I'm like, so far so good. And like, I don't know. It just definitely happened when I least expected it. And yeah. So that's kind of the story behind that. And like, now you guys will get these updates about my relationship. Eventually I'll bring him online. Eventually you guys will see him and like I'll post with him and stuff. But for now, I'm just in my happy bubble. And I think we're both happy in our bubble. So I am so glad that I got to like chit chat with you guys and be back and talk. I want you guys to let me know which guests you want on because I am back in the swing of things next week. And I'm so excited to have new guests on and so excited to just be back, like posting weekly and getting back into it. So I'm very excited for that. If you guys aren't already, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and leave any guests that you want in the comments or just DM it to me. And make sure you follow us on Instagram at Real with CW and on TikTok at Real with Carly Weinstein. And I love you, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.
What a wonderful world.